Gianni, I've got a new drinking game.
Oh.
It's called the Oscar Pistorius, right? Every time someone goes to the bathroom, he takes 4 shots.
I'm gonna pass out. Amazing. I'm in tears.
What's up, people? Welcome to the GSC podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lauji. Joined this week, as always, by Johnny.
Hello.
Jamie C.
Hey, hey.
And Gianni Spagnoli.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. You've gone back to saying, like, one of your hosts.
Yeah?
One of your...
Like, the first week back, you were just like, I'm your host. And I was like, yeah, good. And
I'm
now
not
it's
taking
like, one of your
responsibility for
hosts.
this, and you guys
I
do it.
remembered how shit this was, so I'm going to go back to spreading the blame.
No, I haven't researched, so it's our podcast.
All right.
When it's good, it's mine.
I know we usually talk about stuff on the channel at the end, but I do want to draw attention to the fact that Jamie's been putting up some awesome videos all week. Have you guys seen them, yeah?
Yes, I have.
How good are those videos? For so long, Jamie was saying, I don't want to do videos. I can't do them. The people won't like me. They're fucking awesome. They're easily our best content.
So it's being watched.
House of Spagnoli is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, House of Spagnoli, we've been recording a bit more this week. You will see episodes 2 and 3 going up in the next couple of days after the podcast. Gianni goes to the gym. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but that's going to happen.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that props in there before we got started because it's awesome. But anyway, we'll start as we always do with what we've been playing / doing this week. Johnny, you're up first, bro. What have you been up to this week?
Not much, but I did watch The Raid 2 last night.
Oh, mate. Details.
So have you seen the first one, any of you?
Yeah, man. Of course I've seen The Raid. The Raid was awesome.
Okay. I think this is kind of the movie that I think he wanted to make. It's such a long film as well. It's about 3 hours, but it's pretty long. The action is epic. You need to watch it, guys.
I didn't realise it's so long.
Yeah, me either. We went to the 9:15 showing, and didn't get out until 12 o'clock.
Damn, man.
On 12, yeah, very long. But it's definitely more spaced out. There isn't as much action tightly packed together.
Well, that was one of the big things about the first film, man. That once shit went down in the tower block, that was it until the end of the film.
Yeah.
It's just a constant, no holds barred stream of action.
Which is really nice. But yeah, this has more pacing. We'll have an action scene, then story for about 10-15 minutes, and another action scene. The action's ratcheted up to 11 now. There's car chases and guns and fucking mental stuff going on. It's a good some scene in the prison. You've probably seen it on the trailer, when they're out in the prison yard.
Yeah,
it's all mudded and raining. Definitely watch it.
How are the hand-to-hand fight scenes, man? Because that was what I was most impressed with in the first film. How brutal they were, the physicality of the fight scenes. Is that bad?
It's even better. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tenfold. It's even better. Loads of hand-to-hand fight scenes. A lot of them have knives as well. There's knives, and this film felt a little bit more anime style. There's actually sort of defined characters. There's this woman who has 2 hammers, and she's just hammers girl. And then there's this other guy who's got a baseball bat, and he fires off baseballs. He's just baseball bat guy.
That should sound shit, right? But it just sounds awesome. It just makes me want to see it more.
Yeah, they do feel a bit cheesy, but at the same time, what they're doing, it looks so impressive. You can sort of forgive it. Like this guy swings his baseball bat. Like I didn't even know you could do that. It's just insane. Looking very stylish. The choreography is absolutely amazing.
Awesome, man.
Do you remember Mad Dog from the first film?
I think so.
He's the guy. He's the choreographer, I believe. He's back in this film. Plays a different character, but yeah, look out for that. He's pretty cool. And the main dude's really cool. But yeah, no, the story's awesome. And the final fight scene. I'm not going to give anything away, but it lasts about 5 minutes, and it is absolutely amazing.
Awesome,
It's
man.
really long, slogging through.
Which
It's a big fight.
cinema did you see it at? One local to us, or?
Yeah, it's just a view.
Oh, okay, cool. I was worried that it wasn't going to get a very wide release, because I'm assuming it's with subtitles, right?
Of course, yeah. It's in Indo, and there's Japanese in it as well. There's some Japanese gangsters. Pretty
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was my time at the cinema.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Get out to any gaming?
Oh well, just like we seshed Mercenary Kings.
Yeah,
We completed 4 ranks.
We smashed ranks, didn't we? Yeah.
We smashed ranks. Yeah, that's a nice way.
Yeah, Ben, there was a reason you couldn't make it on, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, yeah,
I'm sure I'll cover it in what I've been doing this week.
Let's see. Yeah, we smashed it, man. Like we basically had this guy, just some random, as 3, and then this random guy,
And he was top rank, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was powered up, top rank, so he was just blasting through a lot of the missions.
His gun was so ridiculous, it just lagged everything out.
Lagged the screen, yeah. The shotgun with 100 bullets that just came out and bounced all over the screen. It was mental.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man.
That's it. That's pretty much it.
Sweet, man. Jamie, what have you been up to this week, bro?
Oh, quite a lot of movies myself, actually. Just touching on what you were saying with the Raid 2 and how it, you would have thought it wouldn't have got a wide release. I'm actually quite disappointed because last week I wanted to see Richard Ayoade's new film, The Double.
Oh yeah.
And we just didn't get it here in Oxford at all for that. Disappointed as I don't know if you guys saw Submarine.
Yeah, I have seen Submarine.
I mean that was like a soft, very French film that he did, but The Double was Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have seen the trailer for that.
Yes, I've seen the trailer.
I'm really, really looking forward to that film, and we just didn't get it in Oxford, so I'm gonna have to. Well, we probably did in some of the smaller chains, further into the depths of town. But you got to have time to be able to do that as well. But no, I mean, it's a shame. I'll go pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out. But yeah, there were some games this week, but there were also some movies. So while I'm on the movies, I'll stick with that. Just now for the podcast, I've just got back from seeing the new Spider-Man movie.
Sweet, because I saw Spider-Man last night, so I can
the new one,
this. Yeah, man.
Okay, sure.
I don't read reviews before I go into a film, but I did catch a headline. This is the Batman and Robin of the Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
I do not agree with that at all.
Now, the thing, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, so I'm obviously going to sound a bit biased when I go into it, but I think Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man in the first movie is top-notch. That's the best you're going to get Spider-Man. He plays the character perfectly.
I didn't see any flaws in his Spider-Man in this movie. I'm sure we're going to go on to talk about some, but as I left the cinema, I was having this conversation with the guys I saw it with, that he is the perfect Peter Parker and Spider-Man in these movies. I couldn't think of a better actor to play him. So
yeah, but I think the problem we're getting, and the reason people are kind of picking up on this cheese vibe now, is Spider-Man's always going to have a cheese vibe just because of his almost happy-go-lucky, but still understanding there's some seriousness about what's going on.
Spider-Man, he's a wisecracking superhero. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Cracks wise.
He's grown out of his uncle's death. There's a lot of stuff going on within, his background and his roots. But yeah, because the characters are supposed to be maturing, and some stuff that happens in this film should mature the characters further, he still manages to keep that character, and I think that pissed a lot of people off, and it made them, I don't know, it's not Chris O'Donnell with nipples on his batsuit, is it?
It pisses me off, right? Because I don't know what people want. There's never going to be a dark, gritty, Dark Knight style Spider-Man film.
No,
because that would not fit Spider-Man at all.
No, I mean we're dealing with something that embraces mutagen, right? We're dealing with a series that lets that in, has to still try and stay grounded in real life New York, downtown Manhattan, and all of that. But it's still got to have these characters. If you watch the show, you read the old comic books. these are characters that turn into giant lizards and like fucking rhinos and stuff. Like, it's not going to stay that grounded. It's not going to be Batman. Like you say, it's not going to be Dark Knight.
To be honest, I can't think of a single bit in that film that made me think Batman and Robin or like that level of shit, man.
There was one scene that I won't go into too much detail, but it involves Electro and Harry Osborn
Oh yeah.
in the Oscorp Tower, and it did feel a bit like it was Uma Thurman and and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but only because that again, it's just this is a young actor, just like Andrew Garfield,
Are we
who's
talking
still
about
got
the
to
kid
try
who
to have
played
some fun.
Harry? Harry Osborn,
Yeah.
He is fucking awesome. The kid from Chronicle, yeah?
Yes, he's from Chronicle. He was in Place Beyond the Pines as well. Brilliant in that as well. You mentioned Chronicle, actually. I was going to say there's a scene that touches a lot on Chronicle with Electro as well, sort of like blended with Infamous. I think it was the film it needed to be. I don't think it could have been any different.
You say I'm glad you mentioned Infamous, right? Because when Electro was going around the city, leaving those trails, all I could think was the neon power from Infamous Second Son. It looks so similar.
I took my son and he actually turned to me and he said, "Just like that girl out of Infamous, Dad."
Yep, it was so
So
similar.
like even
So
he's just
similar.
seen me playing that like in the background and he's picked up on it as well. No, brilliant. And what I would say is I wouldn't worry about staying through the credits.
Yeah. Do you know what? We can spoil that because
It's not a
it
spoiler.
it will
It's not a
save
spoiler.
people the hassle, right?
That's the thing.
It's not a hint at the next Spider-Man film. It's like a pre-trailer thing for the new X-Men movie.
Right. It's actually a 60-second scene from the new X-Men film. It doesn't even give you a complete scene. It cuts it completely. Just in the middle, you
Oh,
just get this little bit of a military base and what is clearly some mutants, and then some commanding officer comes in, says they're taking them with them. Turns out to be Mystique, and then she takes them. You don't even see them leave. That's it. It has no impact on the film. If you want something good from the new X-Men, the last trailer that just launched this week is one of the best things you can do
Was
going into that film
was that
now.
the trailer that played before Spider-Man? Do you think? Because there was a
No, there's
trailer
an
for
even
it.
newer one. There's an even newer one. So just keep an eye out now while this podcast is live. The trailer's just released now. Um, but yeah, it's the one with Quicksilver in it. So yeah, that's much
Quicksilver.
better.
Does he look better in this trailer? Because the first stuff that they showed for Quicksilver, he looked awful, so bad.
I guess while we're on it, then Quicksilver's going to be getting screen time this summer with X-Men, and he's also going to be in Avengers next summer.
Yeah.
Obviously, completely different. I'll stick with the Kick-Ass one next summer. He looks a lot better.
Despite how much you hate that guy as well, man.
I know
But
this
that's
one looks
saying
more like
something.
Gerard Way, like
Yeah,
dressed in like silver. That's all it is. It's a silver Gerard Way. This X-Men one.
he looks
I'm not gonna
awful,
make this
really
silly.
bad.
But yeah, um, but that's it. Yeah, so don't worry about staying through the credits. It's not. You don't get anything special there, do you?
I'm
but
gonna.
overall, is it worth seeing?
I would
I
definitely
think.
recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, yeah, like I said, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so I'm going to be a bit on it with that. But I still think it is the film it needs to be. And if you're a fan of the first one, you're going to enjoy this one. If you weren't too sure about the first one, you're probably going to hate this one.
I will give you a little caveat with that as well, though. If you're a massive fan of Marvel's Cinematic Universe, you'll probably find the film feeling quite hollow. I find it when I go and see these films because it was the same when I saw the first Spider-Man film. I really like it, and it's a good movie, but I know that it could never coexist with the other Marvel films. And
Yeah.
I think to myself, like, how awesome would it be if Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was paired up with like Iron Man? Like them playing off each other could be amazing, but it will
Yeah, it
never
would be
happen.
amazing.
Like, and
Shame.
it kind of takes away when I see these films, knowing that that can never happen. So don't let that put you off, though, like going to see it or whatever, because it
But
is a
that's the
good film.
thing. Like, films like The Avengers um, opened up a new audience for Marvel. Robert Downey Jr. alone has opened up a new audience for Marvel, but that's just the Disney films. And, fans of the Nolan Batman films aren't the same fans as these Spider-Man films, and then definitely not the same fans as Avengers. There seems to be spread out markets.
Yeah,
It's leeching new markets, isn't it? It's still got an overall, a sort of comic book film nerd will go see all of them. probably complain about all of them and sweat out their belly button. But it then has a new market for each one individually, and I think that's it. If you're a big fan of those others, you probably aren't a big fan of this one.
On the plus side, though, I left the cinema thinking that was a really good film. Had some really good conversations afterwards with some of the other people that saw the film. Enjoyable time. It was awesome. You played any games this week, Jay?
I did, but I've run out of time. Fez. I played Fez.
Played Fez.
PS4. Yeah, I played it when it came out on Xbox Live, 2 years ago. But hell, it's a great game, and I don't mind giving them the money again, especially when it's like cross-buy completely. So I've bought it once more, and I can play it on Vita, PS3, and PS4, and cross-save.
Awesome.
That's good.
So, hey, on the go. But yeah, I love Fez. It's good. I'll leave it at that.
Sweetness. Gianni, what have you been up to this week, bro?
Well, what have I been playing? Yeah, Football Manager. Yeah, I can't remember if I spoke about it last week.
I think it was just coming out last week, or you just got it.
Yeah. I've played it a bit more, and it can be immensely frustrating. The user interface, like, I know it's their first iteration, but my god, just trying to move a player from one position to the next on the pitch is really fucking irritating. It doesn't pick up the swipe, and it can take a few little goes, but you're still talking about a game where fans of the series could easily put in well over 100 hours worth of gameplay. So for me, and the Vita needs games like that, so for me it's thumbs up in that sense.
Awesome.
It's just a shame it was such a long time coming. What else have I played? Bit of Final Fantasy. That came out. Still nothing new. And
Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. I'm glad you glossed over it. Keep going.
Yeah. I don't want to step on your toes. And also Mercenary Kings already mentioned, and also Trials just came out.
Trials, which I pre-ordered, and I didn't know it was actually out yet.
Yeah.
Right. So, Jay, I mean, you could talk a little bit more about this as well, because you've played it more than I have. I've literally played for about an hour before the podcast, and about half an hour of that was me trying to getting the leaderboards to work, because Uplay was fucking up. But
Just go through
that
Uplay.
aside,
Oh, no.
I mean, it's a Ubisoft game, isn't it? So you have your Uplay account linked. But, I mean, the Ubisoft servers were down tonight for a while. I think it's just because the game's just launched and everybody's logging on, and it might have just crashed it for a little while. It's working now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's funny because it wasn't actually the game; it was actually Uplay that was the problem. So the game recognised you could log in, but it wouldn't let you continue to see the leaderboards and stuff because it needs Uplay to run. So it's a little bit of an odd one, but it's all back up and running, so it's fine. So you can get back to challenging each other's ghosts, and oh my god, it's Trials. That's all that needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that.
There's a catch.
I think they're taking a piss with the price of the hard copy. 30 quid we're talking about here. 30 quid for the game, which was what, £12 when it originally came out on the Xbox, on the Xbox 360. And what you're looking at is, and I mean this in the nicest. The gameplay and everything is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Fantastic game. Always has been. But if you've spent 30 quid on this game, you're going to be really fucking disappointed.
Yeah, but wait, doesn't that come with the season pass though, doesn't it?
It is. The game itself is $15.99, and then if you buy that as a download, the season pass is also available for $15.99.
But at retail, see, I didn't know that. Originally I was going to kick off about the price, but knowing
you've got the season pass included, which is 4 lots of DLC over the next 12 months.
It isn't too bad.
But there's no option of not buying it without that. So if you're not fussed about DLC, you're spending 30 quid on what is basically Trials HD.
I think the case against that point, though, is that the previous 2 games were only available as a download. So to give you the option to buy it on disc alone is an added bonus. Whereas it's only a 5 gig download for $15.99. That's how I've done it. I'm not good enough to maybe get the DLC because I've reached the hard tracks now, and I'm kind of testing my limits now. And if the DLC ends up being more hard content or just some more costumes, it's not really for me. Like, the gameplay now for me is beating each other's scores and creating levels.
That's what the game's always been to me, man. Just
Yeah.
trying to beat your guys' scores, even though that's not going to happen because you all got it on PS4 and I got it on PC.
Well, you're a dick. But that's my only gripe. You can't get the hard copy without having DLC, which means you're spending money that. Well, all four of us here have already said we're not interested in DLC, and I'd say we're pretty big fans of it, of the series.
Yeah,
so,
true.
that was my only gripe. But then, as I said, it's a Trials game. It's great. I think the price is just about right on us, $15.99. And yeah, no, it's good fun. It's good fun. So again,
Awesome.
Yeah,
I have to get it.
Is that you done, Gianni?
That's me done.
Cool. I'm glad we got the Spider-Man talk out of the way as well, Jay, because then I have to speak about that. All I've done this week, right? Literally all I've done this week is play Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn.
You're loving a new character then?
I haven't made a new character. It's the same character, right?
I made a new character.
I
got Guybrush Fleetwood.
You did, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous that you're getting all these people shouting quotes at you. I feel like I should have picked a name that was quotable as well, man.
It's amazing. There's nothing stopping you creating a new character.
I just can't be asked to go through that grind again, man. That grind of getting to 50. Anyway, the 2.2 patch came out, which expanded the game, added a load of new features, continued the storyline, and cool shit came out, basically. So I wanted to get back into it. And that is what I've been doing all this week. I went through, grinded out a load of stuff, got some epic weapons, some epic loot, changed my character around. They added a system called the Glamour system, where you can change any piece of armor to look like any other piece of armor. So I've got like a gimp suit kind of thing on, and I've got long flowing pink hair now. Right?
Is anyone else not surprised by that statement? You could have it make it look like any other piece of armor, and Ben chooses a gimp suit.
Yeah, all right. They also added a commendation system where like you can give people commendations after playing a dungeon with them if you enjoy playing with them, which I guess in the long run is going to help weed out the assholes who just want to speedrun everything and have no sympathy for anyone who gets in their way or whatever. I've already ranked up quite a bit in that. I've got my title unlocked, Heart of the Party, man, love it. I'm basically in love with the game again. It's like they've added so much and changed so much that it's like starting over fresh, except I've got all my stats and stuff from before. It's really cool.
You could say it's like a Realm Reborn.
Oh, it's what you did there, Gianni. And it was the perfect time for it as well with the launch of the PS4. So,
yeah.
Cracking game.
No, it is.
But are you playing on PS4? Sorry.
No.
Playing on PC.
I'm still playing on PC. But
who's this guy? He buys a PS4 and buys everything for PC. What the fuck?
I'm gonna buy games for PS4.
He's like, I'm so master race. I just let it gather dust.
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. There's games coming out for PS4 that I want, but until then, I'm just gonna keep playing stuff on PC.
You're just gonna buy them on PC.
It's fine. Anyway, but that is all I've done this week. Nice and boring, other than
maybe
out and go to the
maybe you're the reason the Vita's failing.
Oh, look. He was desperately looking for that segue, man, and it was fucking awful. But yeah, alright. So the main talking point of this week is, why is the Vita failing? That's what we
Danny, why?
Should we get a couple of facts out?
Yeah, go on then.
Alright, does anyone have the number in front of them of how many units the Vita sold? I don't know why I can't talk today.
Wait,
I'm blaming it because I'm sick.
Should you maybe have asked that question before we started recording?
No, it's fine. I mean, I've got last year in 2013, the Vita shifted 4.2 million worldwide.
So, what the PS4 did in its worldwide release?
Yeah, it did it an entire year, which like by any standard is pretty sluggish for a piece of hardware, man. You would expect to be selling that in a year.
So, how much has Wii U done? Oh wait, sorry, do we not talk about that?
Yeah, let's not talk about Wii U.
I think that's going in that's because it's getting traded
backwards.
back in. It's going backwards now. Yeah.
So, yeah, all right, back to Vita. Yeah.
All right, why do you guys think the Vita's failing?
I really don't know. Honestly,
well, handhelds.
But is it?
What? Yeah.
It's failing in comparison to what? The DS.
Well, let's compare it to the PSP.
Yeah, go for it. The
PSP had Monster Hunter.
Do you reckon that's it? It could be.
Definitely,
you never know.
Definitely in Japan.
Hang
definitely
on.
in Japan.
But didn't didn't the PSP have the same issue? Slow sales, not a lot of third-party support. It's the same story, but it still lasted for how long? 8 years?
Yeah, but the PSP over its lifetime sold like 77 million units, man. So it's like fairly decent number.
Piracy has something to do with it because the PSP was notoriously hacked, and you could run any games on it, and people were just having a whale of a time. So they'd just buy a PSP and then just hack all their games.
Well, I'll tell you what's not helping the Vita is the price of their memory cards. We've said this time and again. Until Sony wake up about this, it's always gonna be a problem. You run out of space.
Hurt them. I mean, I've got a 16 gig Vita card, which is full to the brim, and I feel I second guess I second think oh, should I buy this new game because I've got no space? It means I have to delete some old stuff. And buying a new memory card is really expensive. Getting the 32 gigabyte is what, 50 quid, 60 quid? No, it's more than that, isn't it?
I definitely don't think the memory card is the main reason why the Vita's failing.
No.
Yeah, but I think it adds on to it. It's definitely a part to it, though, isn't it? I think it doesn't help it at all. Knowing that this machine costs 150 quid, and then to even install games, you need to buy another £30 memory card.
That's the thing. You're talking about £150, £60 console, and you're spending another 20-30 quid on a memory card, and
that's without games.
Before you bought games.
And PS Plus.
But that's
do we see look at it from a marketing point of view? Obviously, Sony have put a lot of time into making sure the PlayStation 4 launched well, and I think it's safe to say that has. I've got numbers for that later on, but has that taken a lot of focus away from the Vita, or did they just not market it properly in the first place? Because I say that because I went into 2014 with the intention of buying a Vita Slim, with the understanding that it would be a slimmer model and a cheaper model because it dropped the OLED. Now, that console launched in February, and I've only just fucking found out about that today while looking into the details. Did you guys know the Slim had come out over here?
No.
I actually didn't either.
No. So that launched in February, and it's also more expensive.
Huh?
Is it?
Is that
it's
because it's bundled?
180 on its own for the Slim
It's
model.
bundled with a memory card, though, isn't it? In the box.
Oh, there you go.
If that's the case, then that helps it a little bit, but still, we're talking about a console that should have been trying to compete against the 2DS now, which is £100, or right now 90 with a Pokemon game included across a lot of retailers. Surely that was that should have been the competition for it now.
How much is the 3DS now?
3DS XLs are 170, and then the 3DS should be about 150, 160, right?
I have to admit, if you're talking about price alone, the 3DS does sound really expensive. Because when I got mine, and that's the reason why I didn't have one for ages. I was using Ben's one, but when it dropped, when I could get it for about 120 quid, 130 quid, I thought that's what I was kind of expecting to be paying for a 3DS. Not closer end of 200 quid.
I paid over
£200
for both my 3DS and Vita.
I think the problem is, and I know it's the same thing everyone keeps saying, there's no AAA support for the Vita. It's just not getting any, and that's purely because the install base isn't that high. People are thinking, we're not going to see the kind of return that we want. I think the highest selling game on the Vita to date is Uncharted, and those sales figures are sitting at just over 1 million copies sold.
And a lot of that would have been launch bundles.
But don't forget, with Uncharted as well, it's been on PlayStation Plus for a long, long time now.
There's also another factor that people just aren't taking into account, and that is that the PlayStation Vita has the best attach rate for games of any console. Seriously, I think the attach rate is something like 8-1 on the Vita, which is crazy. When you think
I have
about
a lot
that.
of games, yeah.
But how many of that is in? I'm going to choose my words carefully here because I'm not entirely sure. But how many of those are those 16 gig memory sticks with 10 games? Because they're very clever at skewing figures like that.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I've got a quote here from a Chris McQuinn from Drinkbox, the guys that made Guacamelee. Yeah. And he said, and I quote, "People rag on the Vita so much, and I think it's people who rag on the Vita and I think people who rag on the Vita don't understand, at least from a business perspective, the purchasing power of Vita owners. Vita owners are serious purchasers of games. It's an amazing system.
Are we? Yeah,
I agree.
actually, that raises a good point. Are we looking at this a bit too blindly and thinking this is a core gamer's console?
It
For
definitely
years
honestly
we've
is.
bitched and moaned about Nintendo, and yet now I think about it, when you look at their game lineup for the Vita, yeah, it's not teeming with games, but there are some quality games on that. I mean, even games like Tearaway. I mean, Gravity Rush was still a good game, despite the fact it kind of got a little bit old after a
Oh, it
while.
was unplayable.
Did you?
Sorry,
did you
that's
really
another
hate
story.
it?
I could not. That was one of the last games I played for my Vita. I really couldn't get into Gravity Rush. I am keen on Tearaway though.
Tearaway is fantastic, and there's still a Little Big Planet is the best Little Big Planet out, the Vita version, as far as I'm
Yeah, I
concerned.
agree with.
Yeah.
I'm a huge LBP fan, and I would say the Vita version is the best LBP.
And we haven't even spoken about Soul Sacrifice.
Yeah,
So
I really enjoyed that.
Soul Sacrifice was good, but now we're living in a world where they've confirmed that Monster Hunter, what is it, Monster Hunter
For
Frontier G, Monster Hunter Frontier G for the Vita is confirmed to be coming west. So Soul
serious?
Sacrifice,
When was
yeah,
it? When did this happen?
Soul Sacrifice is not really on my radar anymore.
When
But
did
we've
this
also
happen?
got what Soul Sacrifice Delta coming as well.
Which is
Which is
it's not a sequel. It's like an enhanced version of the first.
right. The first one was a PlayStation Plus game a couple of months ago.
It was
and
a fun
I've got
game.
it sat waiting in my library. If I ever buy a Vita, I've got, thanks to PlayStation Plus, there's a ton of games there.
It's not.
You're
That's
getting
exactly
two a
what my
month,
friend
and
did.
they're
Yeah.
good titles.
I mean, it's not the kind of game that I wouldn't want to play again. I mean, if you decided you did want to try Soul Sacrifice, I would definitely play some more. It's a fun game, but it just leaves. It wants to be Monster Hunter so badly, and it just isn't. Like
Yeah.
that's my problem with it. And as a massive Monster Hunter fan, I want Monster Hunter. I don't want a clone.
All right.
So
When's Frontier
I think
coming
we've-
out for the Vita?
I don't know whether they've confirmed a release date. They just confirmed that it's coming west.
Of
Wow.
what? Oh,
It's coming out for the Vita and the PS3 as a digital download, I think.
Sweet.
but the other problem with the Vita, I mean, we've got Borderlands 2 coming. Borderlands 2, coming out for it. I think when games like Bioshock, I mean, I don't think there's one person who can say they weren't excited about a Bioshock on a handheld, because for me I was really excited, and when that fell through, it was a bit of a kick in the balls, because it was like such an epic game that you could take anywhere, as far as I was concerned.
Well, Irrational
today as well.
Irrational Games have kept a small team, haven't they? So I don't know if that's what they're secretly still working on. But
I seriously
as
doubt.
far as
I
we're
also-
concerned, it's gone, isn't it? Yeah.
I also saw they announced Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill Shattered Memories are coming out for the Vita.
Shattered Memories
Like-
was actually a really good game. I don't know why people
like
didn't
eight-
like it.
The
It's gonna be
Silent Hill on the
£8
Vita
each.
at the moment is rubbish.
Yeah, the RTS sort of. No, not RTS, but
Book
it's
of
like
Shadows, whatever. Was
yeah,
it
it's
called
like a
Book of
weird game.
Shadows, or was that the Blair Witch 2?
Yeah, it was. No, it's Book of Shadows, I think.
Something like
But
that.
yeah, that I'm interested. You can't forget that the Vita isn't just about the AAA though. It's a powerhouse for indie games, and not to mention Minecraft's coming out for the Vita soon.
Yeah.
I think that might be a system. Well, I'm going to get that for the Vita. I
Still
think.
no date on that, actually. The PS4
No.
version and the Vita version are still sitting with nothing. The PS3 is going to get a retail disc version next month, but they said still no news on the exact date for the other two. We know you're waiting, but please keep waiting. That was it. Fuckers.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for the PS4 version. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get.
If we're talking
I
about
wish
indie
there's
games and
crossplay.
stuff,
Crossbuy.
like apparently indie games are selling really well on the Vita. Like,
Yeah,
I think
It's
Hotline
perfect
Miami's
for it,
found
yeah.
a good home there, hasn't it? Games like that, and I
Well,
really enjoyed Hotline
plays
Miami.
really well on it. Yeah.
to quote Chris McQuinn again from the same interview,
Oh,
talking
cool.
talking about the sales on Vita compared to the PS3, he said the split in sales for Guacamelee between the Vita and the PS3 wasn't quite even, but it wasn't far off. I think that speaks to the strength of the Vita as a console to sell your game on, because there are so many more PS3s than Vitas. For us, the sales on Vita were really, really strong. It was a great SKU for us. So,
Well, there's one game that, well, Jamie, you mentioned it about Fez. When I first played that, one of the first things I thought was, why isn't this a handheld game?
Yeah.
And I've been playing it. I haven't played it as much because I've had Football Manager and other stuff coming out. But I've got Fez on, and it plays really nicely. And I think the screen is good size. You know, this is where the Vita can actually excel. And I'm looking at some games here. I've got Fez, Miami, Hotline Miami, Retro City Rampage, Ollie Ollie, and MotoGP 13. But
right.
ignoring that one, you know, Ollie Ollie's got really good reviews, and I haven't played it yet, so I don't want to comment. I'll probably talk about that next week. But there are some solid titles on there, and I don't know. I see the Vita. I reckon in a few years, maybe 3 years, we'll be talking about how it's come on leaps and bounds.
Well, this should be the window now, right? This is another reason it's important to talk about it. I think we're looking at the back end of the PS3. The games are dying down there, and cross-buy seems to be something that's happening more and more. And surely that should encourage more gamers to be interested in the Vita.
And that's not to mention like the integration with the PS4. Obviously, the Vita and the PS4 do play well together. I mean, I've played a lot of games like just on the PS Vita screen.
The remote play,
the remote play feature, and it works really, really well.
So technically, it is getting a lot of big titles for it because you could, if you own a PS4, that is, of course. But yeah, I mean, this should be that window then, shouldn't it? This should be the opportunity now for the Vita to I think, come more in line with a better price point to rival the 3DS, maybe the 2DS, and try and go for it. It can't. I understand it can't go down to £100. That's a bit too cheap for it, but it shouldn't have gone over 130. Really, the new slim one.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Carry on, Johnny. Sorry.
I was gonna say I'm surprised it's more expensive than the OLED version. 100 what did you say 180?
I'd seen it retailing for about 180. I didn't see a thing about a memory card though, so I'm probably not doing it justice if it's got a big memory card in there.
I don't think it's got a big memory card. I think it's got like a 2 gig memory card.
Oh, fuck that.
They want to get down to 150, slightly less if they can, because obviously they're competing with tablets now and mobiles. It's a tougher market now.
At that price point, the 150 to 130 price point, I think it could rebound really strongly. I mean, who knows? Johnny could be right, man. Maybe it is the lack of a Monster Hunter game. We'll see. I mean, Monster Hunter Frontier is coming out. When that comes out, maybe Vita will suddenly reinvigorate, and that will be the trick. But at the moment, it seems like it's dying, guys. Like I can't see a way for it to come back.
No, I disagree. I don't think it's dying at all. I think it will pick up.
I mean, it's a small concentrated user base, right? That are clearly buying games. Like I've bought tons of games for my Vita. I own more games on my Vita than I do for any other system that isn't Steam. So Vita is my number one platform for playing games out of the computer. But outside of like our hardcore gaming base, who's going to want that, man? I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm going to shoot down what you just said, and this isn't going to go down well with you either, Johnny, but I think you guys are getting a bit too het up about Monster Hunter, and I think you're overselling it for the Western market. Like, Japan...
I think, Japan's going to love it. I don't know about the West, but...
Yeah, over here, it's not a console mover, so if we want to compare apples with apples, take away Monster Hunter, and you've still got a PSP... Oh, that's a bit of
this is what I was going to say. The Vita doesn't have a Monster Hunter, right? The PSP only did well because it was massive in Japan because of Monster Hunter. Like, take Monster Hunter away, what was the must-have game on the PSP in the West?
Well, don't forget we had Peace
Fucking Coded Arms.
We had Kingdom Hearts for the Vita, which was very good.
I think we spent a bit too much time on this bit. Crisis Core is probably my view, but the one thing we're all forgetting here is that the PS4 is only just come out. Well, it's been out for 6 months, but it's still in its infancy, and I haven't played a game yet for PS4 that actually utilizes the Vita screen other than remote play. Right. Yeah. So there's also that it's still untapped. So I have a feeling. I don't know. If you look at it like this, I have a feeling that they released it for the price that they did because they could. And what will happen is when the PS4 gets about a year and a half, 2 years old, then you'll see a lot more connectivity. The price at that point is the console's mature enough for it to drop. So I think we're all looking at it a bit too short term. And I think there's plenty of life left in the Vita. I bloody hope so as well, because it wasn't cheap.
I don't think it's going anywhere, right? But I don't think you're going to see a sales spike and then hear people saying, "Oh, didn't the Vita come back strong?" Like, I don't think that's ever going to happen. That's not really feasible at this point. Like, if it was gonna get any traction, it would have had it by now.
No, I disagree. How about this? The only blockbuster AAA title we said that's out is Uncharted, right? They haven't got Gran Turismo out yet. As you said, they haven't got a Monster Hunter, and there's no native Final Fantasy on it. So those are 3 huge titles that somewhere in the globe will cover a big market. So, and there's probably a lot more I've missed out on there. So
I mean, how long's the Vita? There's no precedent for it. This is what I mean. Like, there's no time where this has happened before, where a console has been doing really badly and then suddenly come back and been really strong. It's never happened.
PSP.
The DS.
The DS didn't really do that either.
The DS was all right. The DS was strong from the get-go, really.
He sort of plodded along.
The PS3 was also fairly strong and really took off about a year after it came out. The Vita's been out for 2 years now, I want to say.
Yeah, 2 years, yeah.
Yeah,
but it's always been a companion for the PS4. That's what they've pretty much always been banging the drum.
But the PS4's only been out for 6 months, so what was it for the first year and a half of its lifespan? You hear that silence? Love it. Sorry.
What's silent?
You.
Just admit you're wrong and we can move on.
I'll agree to disagree, though, and we can move on, because...
But the best thing to take away from that is that we all do want the best for this console. I want to buy one again, and I think that's why it's an important topic. Because
it is my favourite console, honestly, the Vita.
I think Sony know that it isn't doing well, but then I also think they've had a lot on their plate making sure that they wipe the floor with Microsoft in regards to the home console. And I think they're doing okay there now, so they need to just spread their focus again. I don't want their little VR thing. I really don't. I'm not sure.
How good it is.
Yeah, of course. I could say that now, and it could end up being one of the best things. It could also end up being like
PlayStation
the next U-Draw.
Oh yeah, all that.
and then
U-Draw, the thing that killed THQ.
Yes.
God damn, man.
And apart from years and years of substandard wrestling games. But I digress. What about the Vita TV as well? TV? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
That's not going to come west, is it?
It was designed, I think, because Japanese houses are really small and don't really have a lot of space. It's just a little tiny home console version of the Vita, right? That they can just use on their TV.
Yeah. But it's still got a few years left in it, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, undoubtedly. Cool. Gianni.
Yes.
Do you remember last week we were talking about movie trailers?
Yes.
And you were like, I haven't seen any of these trailers, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch them?
Yeah.
Okay, and what did you think?
So what trailers are we talking about first?
We're talking about Transformers 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Perfect.
They all look absolute shit. I can't. I honestly.
Which one looked the worst to you, Gianni?
Well, I really, it's difficult to say. I mean, it's clear Transformers 4's got a huge budget. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I honestly have a feeling that might be the worst one.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, it probably is.
Because, let's face it, at the very end, that joke they crack at the end wasn't funny. And
it's funny to me, I laughed.
I laughed because it was shit. Right? And I think a part of my childhood was like, just ignore it. There's still good stuff around. Guardians of the Galaxy, actually, I don't know. I think that might end up at the box office. Will probably take in the least, as far as I care.
Really?
Big prediction.
I thought
you heard it here first.
I honestly thought it looked a bit shit.
Well, it is a risk. It's not one of Marvel's well-known properties, so it could fail. You never know.
The reason is again, it's like they were trying to crack shitty jokes for the sake of cracking shitty jokes. And I don't know. To me, I didn't. I was like sitting there thinking, really, like that's what's happening. In fact, the bit where he's like, don't wear my headphones or whatever, right? And he goes after him, and it's like, oh right, this is how. Oh, okay. And it just felt a bit awkward.
Huh?
I don't know.
The reason behind that though is because he was abducted from Earth in the 80s, right? And that like cassette player and headphones is like his last like link to Earth or whatever.
His little Sony Walkman, yeah.
Yeah, he's really protective of it.
Yeah, but again, it just felt awkward. It didn't feel like he was like passionate about it. It kind of came across he was trying to be a bit of a dick or like trying to be funny almost.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way he was portrayed earlier on in that trailer. But I honestly think that film was going to really grate on my nerves.
Cool.
So in answer to your question, I think at the box office anyway, Transformers 4 is clearly going to wipe the floor of the other two.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I'm not saying it's going to be a good film.
What do you think of them getting rid of Shia LaBeouf and bringing in Marky Mark?
I don't really care much for the franchise. I watched the first one, I liked it, and then I didn't bother with any of the
You
others.
must like Marky Mark, man. Everyone likes Marky Mark.
So yeah, I like.
Do you like Mark Wahlberg, Gianni? Go on.
I do like Mark Wahlberg as an actor, right? But it's Transformers. How can you make 4 films of this fucking thing? Come on.
Quite easy, man. You get new big robots for the other big robots to beat up. Simple.
The answer is you get new robots to sell as new toys.
Yeah, that's the one.
But you say new robots, yeah, every single trailer I've seen for every single one has the same 4.
Well, you got to have Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee is fan favourite.
You got to establish your grounds. Yeah, you got to have old Eeyore in there.
No.
It's the same voice actor, isn't it?
It is the voice actor, yeah.
Also, what pissed me off is that Michael Bay is director of 2 of those films. Is it?
No,
2? Yeah.
No, we spoke about that last week. He's producing the Turtles, and then
whatever.
John Leibsman or whatever his name was directing Turtles.
Well,
it's got his dick
finger
in it, basically. Yeah.
Oh, all
right, Gianni, rating them, like put them in order, 1 to 3. Which is going to be the best? Which is going to be the worst?
Really?
Yeah, do it.
I can't tell a difference between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Guardians of the Galaxy. I really can't.
Okay. So they're both 2 and 3 then, and Transformers is number 1, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's Gianni's predictions. Gianni's predictions. We'll see when the films come out what the box office is like.
Well done, Gianni. Well done.
Right, what did you guys
I know that
think?
was hard for you, man. Sorry.
Huh? I think Guardians of the
Very
Galaxy is going to piss all over these other films, to be
I
honest.
agree.
Really?
Yeah.
In terms of quality and money made.
You'll see, Gianni. You'll see.
Money made. But are people who aren't fans of Marvel? Is that it?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are fans of, so I think you guys might be a bit blinded on that.
No, I mean,
I honestly think that people who aren't fans of Marvel.
It broke in the news last week, didn't it, that the Marvel universe is now the biggest movie franchise
Of all time.
Yeah, and even though Guardians of the Galaxy is that risk they're taking, it's still a risk based on fans that they've got in their pocket already.
I'll say this: when I went to see Captain America, I was sat watching the trailers at the beginning, and the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy came on, and as it finished, I could hear all around the cinema people going, "That looks sick! Like I can't wait to go see it."
All I'm saying is most of the characters they've used previously have been quite big household names, or have became quite quickly.
See, Iron Man was a relative nobody, man, outside of comic circles before. Like
he's a B-rated hero. Iron Man was not in the A class,
but he was still quite known, quite iconic.
Yeah, I'll give you that. He was.
And that's
he's always been like a core member of the Avengers and stuff. So
yeah, so this is what I mean. He was always known. He may not have been pretty big, but he still had that sort of following that was bigger than anything. I mean, let's put it this way: I watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and I had no idea. At first, I thought it was a spoof.
Really?
Right.
in a way,
I knew nothing about it. I know nothing about it, and I honestly thought at first it might be a spoof.
I love Gianni's insights. Thanks, Gianni.
Oh man, cool. Well, that's really all we've got to talk about. So let's move into Flash News. Flash news, Jamie.
Something like that. I don't know. Right, flash news. Okay, I was talking earlier about some PS4 numbers. They've just announced it's sold over 7 million units now.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
the numbers we're talking. Microsoft are keeping
Juggernaut,
their little cards closer to their chest.
They've definitely sold 10.
10 consoles, a million. What are we on about?
They're
I
like,
don't
we've
know.
sold 7,000,001.
And with that, we were talking about attach rate as well. The attach rate is currently 2.93 games to every console sold.
Which is pretty
I
good.
think that's impressive.
Yeah, no, that is good.
That's good. That means somewhere out there somebody has 3 games.
Yeah.
Someone bought that.
I bought 7 at launch, remember, including Knack.
There were 7 games at launch.
Yeah, they were all ports and they were all on the store.
Sorry.
Right, with PS4 as well, there's going to be a firmware update 1.70 coming soon. That's going to introduce Share Factory. It's an ability to edit, mess around with your clips a bit more. You'll also be able to choose who you share them with, not just blindly upload them to Facebook. You'll also be able to put it onto a USB stick and share it with YouTube.
That's awesome.
After you've edited it.
That's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you know also
really
how
feature.
sometimes it just randomly records your gameplay for 12 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going. They're getting rid of that.
Okay, cool.
Good.
So that's good because you just had to kind of be lucky about what it recorded before. Like I might have had a friend over to play FIFA, absolutely wiped the floor with them, and then wanted to rub it in their face on Facebook later that night.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to go back and just see if it recorded that bit, and it did sometimes, and it didn't some others, and you know, there we go. But yeah, so I think that's a nice touch. I think the idea that you can get it on YouTube after you've edited it now will help a lot.
So we're going to flood the
That's
GSC
interesting.
channel with more gameplay.
With hopefully some more Trials Fusion. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Right, that little thing called the Skylanders or Skylanders, drop the that's made over $2 billion so far.
Holy shit! I knew it was doing well, but I didn't know it was doing that well.
It's also been revealed. I think the initial company who came forward with the idea are called Toys for Bob.
Toys for Bob.
Something like that. It might be Games for Bob. I can't remember. They actually approached Nintendo about supporting it and making it exclusive for the first game. Could you fucking imagine? I bet Nintendo.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, hang on. I was thinking about something like this. It's funny how big Sony have become, and considering they very nearly, they wanted to go joint with Nintendo with the PS1, but
Nintendo again said they laughed at discs, didn't they?
Because of discs, yeah. So it's quite funny about how they were. Yeah,
they're not very good at spotting
the times.
You know, like future gems, are they anymore?
They don't have a great business.
Then again, they did come through with the Wii, man. They called that one.
Yeah.
Well, you mean let's just rebrand the GameCube and have something to play around and see what happens?
Wow, it sold 120 million units or something. So
granted, but it was very little investment they had to put up front for it.
They're still laughing. The problem they had though is that Nintendo released Pokemon U, or whatever it was called, Pokemon Rumble, and then Pokemon Rumble U, and with that one, you had to buy figures, and they were exclusive at GameStop in America and Game over here in the UK. And it's never going to touch Skylanders, is it?
No. Skylanders, when you're being stocked in all the toy stores and supermarkets across the country, like easily in sight of where kids go, and the other one is just in dedicated game retailers.
Well, that's it. When you can open up a market of game shops, supermarkets, and toy shops, I think you got that one nailed on, haven't you? But we'll see, because Skylanders is growing and growing, clearly. You know, they're getting a new version every year. Yep. Next year, it's going to be Skylanders Unity, apparently.
I'm not sure if you've got it on the list, but have we spoken about Disney Infinity's new expansion yet?
2.0, Disney Infinity 2.0. So the trailer, it wasn't on my list, but let's put it in there then. Good. There was a little trailer because I played Disney Infinity, I might add, with my son. He loves it. To me, it's a better version of Skylanders because it's characters that I already care about.
Yeah.
I don't have to invest any more time in their stupid character design and stuff. But there was a new trailer, and they're all the characters from the first game are moving around the screen, and then Captain America's shield just starts splashing off of everything, and then it says the heroes are coming.
Yep.
Now, bear in mind that Disney could now put C-3PO, Darth Maul, Wolverine, Captain America, all of these into your Disney Infinity game. That's just gonna I'm completely away.
Kill it.
I think this next expansion is going to be the Marvel expansion, clearly because of the Captain America shield, and then you'll see like a big Star Wars expansion, probably
If they
closer
keep
to
them
the
separate,
release.
they're probably in a better position.
Probably
I don't
closer
know.
to the release of Episode 7 and stuff. You'll see them pushing the Disney Infinity Star Wars version.
But that's an interesting thing to keep an eye out and keep. I'll try and get some numbers for the coming weeks if I remember to see how well that's been selling. But it's definitely more up my street. I keep my little Wreck-It Ralph sealed in his box. I'm not opening that one. I love him. But right, yeah, moving on. Call of Duty Ghosts. I kind of had to check the date before I read this one, right? So it's getting a new DLC, and there's like announcer packs in there, and it'll be like, squad mate, all of that. So Snoop Dogg's just recorded loads of vocals, and that's out on the 22nd of April.
Right. Let me address this right now. Yeah.
They're keeping the doggy theme.
I would fucking love Snoop Dogg to be the announcer in any of my games.
Snoop Lion.
But I don't want to pay for it. If it was on the game, I would use it all the time. But I wouldn't buy DLC.
I'd rather if it was The Rock, to be fair.
It doesn't matter what your KD is. But yeah, so $3. So we'll probably pay like £5 for it, even though that's not the conversion.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing, man. I'm just surprised that you guys were all down on it. Like, I think it's kind of a cool idea, man.
I think it's cool. It's just like how I want Brian Blessed. If I ever get a sat nav, I just want Brian Blessed. That's it.
Just shouting in your face.
If I flush a toilet, I want Brian Blessed going, "You flushed your shit." Just something like that. Anything in my life, if it could just be narrated by Brian Blessed, then it's fine.
Yeah, but if you had an alarm clock with Brian Blessed, you'd just be you on edge every fucking morning.
The trick is,
he'd be like, "Wake the fuck up! Do you want me to take care of that for you?"
Oh god,
that sounds.
Shall I get on with this?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, news.
That's kind of it for games. But while we're here, then I guess there's a website. There's many of them, but this one's called OneRing.net. They're reporting that New Line Cinema have what's the word I'm looking for?
Greenlit.
Flash. No.
Optioned.
They've optioned. That's the one. A new title. The Hobbit Into the Fire. So there's a lot of speculation that it's either nobody thinks There and Back Again is a good enough title to go to the cinema for, or they might have had some other spin-off in the works, because the Desolation of Smaug didn't do as well at the box office as the first Hobbit.
Which is mind-blowing because it's such a better film. It's so much better.
Yeah, it is. And it's, it's a shame. But, Martin Freeman, once again, fantastic job.
Oh,
everything he touches.
He puts Elijah Wood to shame, man, as the main character in one of those films, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Watching him as Bilbo is so much more enjoyable than watching Elijah Wood as Frodo in the Lord of the Rings.
It's true, actually. Yeah.
But is The Hobbit Into the Fire going to sell more tickets than The Hobbit There and Back Again? Probably, because people are that fickle. Right. But speaking of Martin Freeman, just my little one to watch. It's going to air Sunday the 20th of April in the UK, and it's the Fargo TV series, so it's starting this Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys saw the film from 1996.
Probably not.
I don't think I have. No.
So it's a Coen Brothers film, so you all know like Big Lebowski, No Country for Old Men as well.
We're not supposed to call them that anymore, though. We're supposed to call them the Coens, man.
Well, okay.
One of them ain't a brother no more. No, that's the Wachowskis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never mind. Carry on.
It's like, what? The Wayans brothers? What? But yeah, so the Coen brothers, like I said, a particular favourite of mine recently of theirs is the No Country for Old Men. They have got a lot of films out there that are fantastic. I could list a lot, but yeah, I mean, we all know Big Lebowski, but yeah, Fargo was a great one from 1996, set in Canada. But the TV series starts Sunday night. It's like a 10 episode run, I think, and Martin Freeman's the main actor in that one. Awesome. It's up there. It's got to be the watched.
Sweet.
Do it.
So
we'll do it.
That was the Not So Flash.
The Not So Flash
news. Yeah. The Not So Flash.
This is a long episode. This is like old school GSC.
What are we talking about? We're perfectly on time. Nobody look at the time.
At least you haven't suspended anybody's memories this week.
That's
still
true.
time though before Ben says bye.
I don't know. What was that joke you were telling us at the beginning, Jay?
No.
What the joke that was on before the title music? Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Oh god.
The intro music.
All right. Coming up on the channel then. Hopefully, I'll have started playing something by then. I've been trying to sort out like a Let's Play series, but I just can't find. I can't land on a game that I want to play.
14.
See, I would do that if there wasn't people that do it so much better than me already, man. I can't add anything to what's already there. So.
You're not really adding much to this either.
Oh, thank you, Gianni. I love you, man. So I guess expect some more stuff from Jamie. Some more awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get. Yeah, House of Spagnoli will try and get a couple more episodes up this week. I've been having issues recording, but I've locked down a couple. You don't understand how many times I've had to restart because something crashes.
Really?
Or yeah, I'll sort out those issues. But I put up episode 1 of To the Moon's gone on as well.
Yeah, I
if you guys saw that, but really enjoying that so far. I think that's going to be a good one to play through as well.
At the very least, for me, you'll be seeing a video on Trials, just because we've already checked the beta out. So I'll be looking at the full game at some point this week, and I guess we'll see the rest of you guys on the podcast next week. Cool. Well, if you want to get in contact with us, you can reach us on Facebook at GSC Games. You can reach us on Twitter at GSC_games. If you want to get in contact with any of us directly, our Twitter tags will be down in the description. Email address is down there as well, in case you want to tell us we're shit, which you probably shouldn't do, but you can. And we'll see everyone next week, I guess.
Yep.
Lovely.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.